Okay, we did a survey yesterday, and we went to some areas that needs some work done. Okay, the first area we went to, the cruise group, not good, and we had to go in team to cross the street. We was able to cross together. The lights flashing lanes wasn't working right, so we had to go across the street by teams. We couldn't stay together.
Yeah, the teams were anywhere from 13 to 15 people. So they were talking about while it was safe to cross the street, there wasn't enough time for them to cross.
Yeah, we were looking at sidewalks, street corners, crossing.
For the intersections?
Yeah, intersections, crossing.
What about safety and driver behavior?
We saw a lot of people were going to stop. They stopped. Yeah, they didn't go all the way up. They stopped at the corner. They didn't stop at the corner. They were speeding. This is part of the safe. This was part of the one that was safe. We was able to walk with bicycles. We didn't have to worry about people. Cars going through. We had to worry about walk. We could turn around, walk, stop to look at the other stuff.
I like the art. Made our walk very pleasant.
And when we went onto the beach trail, there was a lot of artwork that we enjoyed looking at. It was enjoyable because walking, you can just enjoy, get fresh air, look at the artwork. It was really fun to see all the different artwork when we went on that yesterday.
And you guys had some comments about this area, the bicycle apartments?
Yeah, the apartments were nice to look at. And on the other side is a street light that's covered with trees. You couldn't see the lights because the trees were just covering it. So it was just a hazard.
Yeah, they needed to be turned back.
In another part on our walk, we thought we were in this area. We didn't know where the bus stops were. Because on our route, we didn't have no bus stops that were on our route. So that's one of the things we were wondering about. Where are the bus stops if you need to get to the bus? Those are one things we had to figure out.
The problem I had with my chair is the curb cuts were, the paint was fading on the curb cuts, and I have depth perception problems, so it was hard for me to differentiate where the curb cut was, because they're not.
Yeah, the crosswalks that we observed, the painting was faded. We couldn't see where the crosswalks were.
I need to have, back at home where I live in Brownsburg, we have yellow and blue and white curb colors, so I can tell the difference between the two and where they're at. But here, in some places, they're gray on gray, so it's really hard to tell where the curb starts and where the sidewalk starts. Where the curb stops and the sidewalk starts. We went to Bloomington Foods, which is a pretty new building from what I've heard, and they have tables out there, and it was really difficult for me to pass through there because people were sitting there, and it's just a tight space. And then there's a handicap entrance, but you would have to go all the way around, and there's not really there's a sign there, but it's not.
Could you see the sign from the main street? street?
No.
The stop,
No.
No, because
There was no sign.
it was no
And
sign.
they didn't obey what our rights were, even though some of us are in wheelchairs. And we didn't know where the signs were to go in. And another thing is Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights leader. And he said even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, for people that have special needs, we always face that today and tomorrow.
So, and once, if you could have gotten in Blooming Foods, it's very difficult to maneuver in Blooming Foods. And Blooming Foods, it's an older building, but it's a new business, so that's something that they were talking about when they redesigned it for a restaurant, a grocery store. It would have been nice if they had thought to allow people that have mobility issues to enter from the front. And certainly there should be signage in the front that says there's an accessible entrance in the rear, which there was not.
I've had elders living at Beltrace who use walkers who won't go to Blooming Foods anymore because they can't get through the aisles with their walkers and they can't reach to get things.
Yeah.
And they're very discouraged. It's too crowded
yeah, I see,
to maneuver
I see
around.
that. Our tour guide said I couldn't even fit in there even if I went in there, so I steered clear.
She didn't go in there.
You can't fit in there with a stroller either.
Yeah.
The bumps that we're putting in, and, you know, we're putting these pedestrian bumps that are supposed to
The
help.
truncated.
You know, that's kind of new to me. Did you experience any of those bumps?
Yeah.
Did they help you, those little, do those help?
Yeah,
Are you talking about the truncated
yeah, the truncated
areas where the ramps?
No, I mean, when you come to a curve, there's now an 18-inch area that has little bumps.
Okay, yeah, that's where you're going.
The truncated.
Do those, I assumed that they were there to give some kind of additional information for someone with inabilities.
You guys tell them what those
Did you
are for.
experience those?
Those are for blind people that use canes, so they can tell the difference between textures in the road.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask that intersection where you said you didn't have enough time to get across the street, was there a button available to you to lengthen the
No.
time across?
No.
There was
There
no button.
was no
button, no.
There was no button at all.
There was no button, there was no audible.
No, they had,
We didn't have no time to cross, so we had to cross in different groups.
yeah, we had to cross the two groups. We couldn't all cross together. We had to cross the